back to Midnight Who Show, and today we are going to review the 9th episode of Series 11 of Doctor Who. And It Takes You Away was a very weird, bonkers, and episode that basically made me go, what? A lot of the times. But in a way, I did somewhat enjoy this story. There are some big flaws, I think, to this episode, at least for me, but overall it was a semi-decent story. I really did like one of my favorite scenes from this episode. I just always will remember this one. Okay, there's one other scene I'll remember, but this one I'll try to remember more than that one. Was when the Doctor and Yaz were just looking at Graham after he said, "I have a sandwich in my pocket." For some reason, he always carries around a sandwich whenever he goes on adventures. That's a actually a good idea, actually. I think that's a good idea when you're time traveling. He said he gets hungry. That's a good idea, but I love how the Doctor and Yaz reacted to that. Like, okay. But on to the episode. The Doctor and her friends land in Norway, in a little forest where there's a cabin that's all boarded up. There's no smoke in the chimney. There's a mystery afoot. They find a blind girl, and, well, her father has mysteriously disappeared, and the Doctor and her friends are here to help. The Doctor soon finds out, thanks to Graham discovering it, that there's a kind of a mirror portal that is trying to lure Graham into it. And the Doctor does get into it, and we find out what's on the other side. But in between it is this kind of in-between universe that's very kind of dark, creepy, with flesh-eating killer moths. Yeah, that's scary a lot. There's this very creepy person who occupies the land, who basically wants to, well, help them go to where they want to, but he wants the Dr. Sonic. The Doctor's going to find a way to get out of that one. This character was very well designed and very creepy. I did kind of like that. And the moths, definitely creepy. They ate people's flesh. That's creepy, and I really did like that element. I felt this whole universe was creepy, and I really liked this part of the story. Much else, I really did not like once we got into the mirror dimension, whatever they want to call it. So basically, that is where her father is, the blind girl's father is, and he's basically with his dead wife. And so does Graham discover his dead wife there. This episode was basically, it was trying to trap these people with someone they loved and remembered into staying there forever. Of course, that's not going to work, and the Doctor figures out that it's kind of a trap, and they have to figure out a way to get out of this. And of course, they do, but it takes a little bit of convincing to both of them to tell them they're not real. And I really did like that part of the story, because it's like, I did like that. I did felt, though, they just seemed like they didn't believe it, though. It's kind of obvious, though, that they're not them. I felt it was kind of like they dragged it out too long, because it felt a little bit out of character for Graham, but maybe that's part of his character arc, in a way. He is just so attached, but even though I thought he wouldn't, it's a very tricky thing because he knows what she is, and he has to learn that maybe sometimes things can trap you. Now, of course, this episode, I think, was disappointing me in one thing, though, because I really think they should have gone a little bit more into the monsters in the wood thing. Like, there's something in the woods that took her father, and the Doctor has to figure out what it is. To me, going to this mirror kind of world and then this kind of upside-down type of land, I didn't like that idea as much. It was a very interesting concept to have something lure it, but overall, I did not enjoy it as much. And, of course, the ending of the episode was where the universe was represented as a frog. With a very familiar voice. That was quite odd. And I will always probably remember that scene as well, because that was like, wait, what now? So yes, this episode was very much like a fairy tale, kind of taking a little fairy tale where you got this creepy kind of setting, and then they go somewhere else, kind of like you go into the mirror. You step within the mirror to a different type of world. And all those people are kind of like the villains there. This is kind of like a world where there's evil. There's trying to trap you. Yeah, it's not probably my favorite villain, that's for sure. But yeah, I really think the concept of It Takes You Away is good. It just could have used a little bit more, I think. There's some really good parts of this story that I really liked. I was like, yes, I like this. And then there's parts of the story that I was like, I don't really think this is a good direction. Especially some things, for me, I thought that were said by the Doctor seemed like, okay, what's going on here? So overall, I would give It takes you away about a 7.5 out of 10. It was a very okay story. There were some really good moments into it, and some really moments that made you start questioning what was going on. The disappointment with the story was that there wasn't really the villain to me was very weak, and I really think the other side of the story could have been a little better if there was like a monster in the woods instead of going to the mirror dimension that was everything trying to trap you. But yeah, so you guys, tell me your guys' thoughts on this episode in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.